Maybe you've heard of Seint makeup, maybe you haven't. What is Seint? How does it work? And why is it better? All of our makeup tins are magnetic and all of our tins are in metal. And so you can create any configuration you want. We have small palettes, we have large palettes, and we have double and triple decker. What is 3D makeup and why do we use 3 or 4 different colors? So with traditional foundation, you put one layer of makeup, essentially like paint, on your face. And it's a very flat 2D look. It flattens out your face and it's just kind of a oatmeal color. There's not really a lot of definition to it. And the reason we use multiple colors with Seint is to accentuate your 3D face. I noticed it a lot in my 40s, and even though I was using a powder bronzer and I was using foundation, my makeup was just looking flat. It would wash me out, and sometimes it would even feel like funeral home makeup. You need that little extra boost. You need that little bit of extra definition. When you're very young, you can wear just about anything and you're going to be beautiful. But as you hit your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're probably going to need and want a little more help. So you have your foundation. For us, it's called a main highlight. The reason we call our foundation and our concealer highlights is because unlike traditional foundation, you do not have to put it all over your face. In fact, if you know that you're going to have contour up here, you don't even have to put the foundation up there. If you have good skin, if you just want a little bit of coverage, maybe some redness around your nose, in between your brows, and maybe spot cover up of a couple of blemishes, you don't have to coat your entire face with a full layer like you do with a liquid foundation. You can just apply it in the areas where you need it, and the cream makeup will just kind of melt in and blend into your skin. So your foundation is called your main highlight. Your concealer is called your brightening highlight. It's a couple shades lighter, and not only does it do the concealing work, but it can also brighten areas where you want a little bit of a really subtle highlight to give just a smidge of that dimension that we talked about. And then the contour. You may not have ever used contour. It may seem kind of extra, but it's so helpful. It gives you that definition in your face, in your features, so that it doesn't flatten them. If you feel like your cheeks are not as defined as you want, if you have jowls, if your face is sagging a little, if you feel like your forehead or your nose are too large or your lips are too small, contour can chisel your face and add shadows to give you some of the things that you want and hide some of the things that you don't. And then bronzer. The difference between contour and bronzer is a drier formulation and it's very ashy. So it's going to mimic shadows and it's going to either define and chisel or help to recede things so that they're not as noticeable. Whereas bronzer is all about warmth, and that is so important. Even if you're cool toned, as we get older, we lose the warmth in our face. A lot of cooler tones come out, and it just adds a lot of youthfulness and a lot of warmth back into your face to make you look alive. So these 4 colors are what we refer to when we say 3D makeup, because it accentuates your beautiful features in the 3D lines and curves and dimension of your face. I typically start with the main highlight or the foundation. Now you can paint this on with your fingers or you can apply it with a brush, which is my preference because it gives the most airbrushed, youthful look in my opinion. We're going to put it where I see excess color that I kind of want to even out. I don't want it to be a distraction. So if you're used to wearing makeup and you don't wear makeup and you look in the mirror at your skin and you don't really know what it is, but you feel like you just look sickly, you just don't look good. There's something off, you look unwell. And this will happen more frequently as you get older because your skin thins. And so all the sun damage and the colors bubble up to the surface, and some unflattering colors can bubble to the surface. Just going to even that stuff out. And the great thing about cream makeup is that you can either get a very light coverage with it or a heavier full coverage. That's going to depend on what brush you're using and your technique a little bit, which I can help you with. But I just like to put as light a layer as necessary just to even things out. I'm going to cover some of the darkness, some of the melasma. I don't like a heavy coverage on myself, so I'm not going to cover every freckle. Cream makeup is going to melt into your skin and it's just going to look like skin. It's just going to feel like skin. It's very light, very natural. We only have between 9 and 11 ingredients in it. If you look at the foundation you've been using, all of the other brands that I can possibly think of have 30, 40, 50 ingredients in them, many of them synthetics and chemicals. But Seint's cream makeup is natural beeswax base, but it doesn't feel like anything, and that's exactly how it should feel. And after you even out your tones, your skin is already starting to look clearer. There's less distractions. It's not about hiding your face or creating a mask that doesn't look like your skin, doesn't feel like your skin, and doesn't look like you. It's just about hiding some of those distractions so that your natural beauty can come out. Then I'm going to take my brightening highlight or concealer, just a couple shades lighter, and put it in some areas where I'd like a little extra brightening or a little extra coverage. Next, I'm going to use my contour color, and I'm going to put it around my hairline to kind of accentuate the 3D curve of my face. And you can see it kind of makes this part of my forehead not seem as large, not seem as blaring. It kind of just curves those edges and kind of just helps it just blend, but it gives it a little definition. It does not look flat like a sheet of paper like this one does. I'll put it around my jawline. I'll put a little at the bottom of my cheekbone. And I go semi-heavy with it, and then I'll softly feather it, blur it just a little. I don't want to erase it. I don't want to take it away. I want it to be a little bit of a shadow to kind of chisel my face and do the things I want it to. This is extra. You don't have to do this. I have tutorials on how to do it, but once I've seen it, I can't unsee it, and so I just feel like I need to. I'm going to do my bronzer also around my hairline to accentuate the 3D features of my face, to give us some depth, to give me some warmth, and to build and support that 3D look. I usually do my nose, but I've already laid my contour, so I'll just put a little there on the edge, and then I go ahead and also do my jawline. And if you get too much, just blend. It's cream, so it's going to melt into your skin. You really can't screw it up, but if you need to, you can just kind of wipe at it and blur and smudge until it just kind of disappears. And I went light, but hopefully you can already see the difference between the two halves of my face. This one, I only have the foundation and the brightening highlight. I haven't added the contour or the bronzer, and it just looks flatter. It looks a little oatmeal, a little bland. And then this side, I have added those lightly. I haven't finished it up yet, but I just wanted you to get a little glimpse of the difference. I'll go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to pop some illuminator, or you may call it highlighter, to give me a little extra glow on the tip of my nose to kind of make that pop. I'll add my blush and lips. Our lip and cheeks double for both. Add a little highlight to the top of my cheeks. It's a system that works really great together for that 3D look. It's gorgeous on everyone. How do you know your colors? Where do you start? I am a Seint artist. I would love to work with you and help you. Is it easy? Some people find it very easy, and some people it takes a minute. It's a different way of doing makeup, and that's why it looks better. If you wanted everything to be exactly the same, you'd be getting the results that are more of the same. And so if you have a lot of habits from traditional foundation that you kind of have to unlearn and change, it may take you a couple of weeks to get the hang of. And then many people, especially women who haven't worn makeup, take to it right away. So it's an individual thing, but if that's what I'm here for, and I can help you all along the way, it is easy, and it very, very quickly becomes habit. It's a little bit of a different process to create a 3D face, but it's worth it. How fast is it? Once you get the hang of it, it'll take 3 to 5 minutes. And for maybe the first time in your life, it will make makeup fun again. Creams are amazing for every age, particularly as you get older. It's more moisturizing, more nourishing, and it just looks beautiful. Will get you glowing and will accentuate the 3D beautiful features of your face in the very best ways.